So, over the last couple of months, TK being TK, I live a very hectic life, And then suddenly, out of nowhere, waking up in the morning suddenly feels heavy. Like, the things I enjoy doing suddenly feel stressful, painful. And I don't want to talk to people, I don't want to see people. I just literally just want to hide, At first I thought this is, it's just one of those days where I am having a bad day, if it will, But a week later, I gave on up. No, man, this is really serious, And I feel like the other pressure of social media, particularly for us as young people, does have an impact on this. So I don't know. There's this stigma around mental health. How do we think of mental health?
Oh yeah, I like the word you use, the stigma. I don't understand why it has to be like that, because I always say with mental health, we have to normalize going for checkups like we have normalized going for physical checkups, You always go for a checkup or when you feel like something is wrong. Why don't you go for a checkup when you feel, I'm not okay, I feel down, I don't know what is wrong with me. By doing that, this stigma thing, because we'll not be afraid to speak out, about what you're going through. So I think really, 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 we need to normalize who is around, because.
But challenge again, how do I know who it's a situation? Because it's just another day, and I'm fine. I'm going through life as I know it. How do I know? At which point do I know who it's red flag? Because again, the country we're living in, there's a lot that is happening. You can see what's happening in the African continent. We saw what happened at Masuru Mall with a lot of young people applying for jobs. At which point do I know that, okay, maybe I need to go for a checkup?
Okay, TK, I just briefly want to ask you, when do you know that you need to see the doctor when you have a headache or, say, a tummy bug?
Yo, given the fact that I was on antibiotics, I went to the dentist and I was on antibiotics and suddenly I had diarrhea. Yo, at some point I was like, Mona thing, it's not it. It's not it. Something is not right. So maybe that's when I know, it's time for me to see or speak to somebody. But I think the challenge. House of Eyes, guys. So for me, the biggest challenge has always been we were not allowed to really express how I feel. So I found it very strange for me to say, I can go to the doctor and say, but going to speak to somebody about how I feel, it's just like,
I think I like what you're saying, especially because you're a man. Hangata o tla fumana hore bomme kapa batho females, they are okay with talking about how they feel because naturally ke batho ba buang, ke batho ba who are confrontational. But with males, it becomes a problem. Hobane ke gola ke yona ntho ene ya hore when you are a male o hola from hanzele le bana le hola le na le dintho tse lo di rutwang ho thwe o tla fumana hore thotho bo monna ke nku halle, you're supposed to man up and not express how you feel. O tla bona o le a weak person if you express how you feel. So ke gola we need to unlearn certain cultural traits tse re di rutuweng ha ntse re hola re le bana, because mental health as it is, it affects motho e mong le e mong regardless hore na o ntate hore na o mme. So hore na o ngwana hore na, it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your age, hore it affects you. So nna ke gola, I always say when you feel like something is wrong, I always encourage people to talk about how they feel.
And again, TK, I get it, like you said, you're like a week later I still feel something is wrong. We all have bad days. I don't feel like waking up, I don't feel like talking to people. But if it's a yeah for na wait Luena is a person, you start becoming concerned or I know something is not right because I don't tell ya mosebetsi and also go ha ke tlo ya mosebetsi ha be o tlamehile o tswa o loja and you feel no ha ke tlo ja ha be motho wa kokota manyako and you feel ha ke tlo mo bulela. You know, you have to see, oh no, now something is wrong. I have to do something about situation in an. Hey, we understand. How depression.
I'm curious to find out. Like, I like that. I like that because I've had cases where people knock, and I'm just like, you know. But I'm quite intrigued by the question you asked me. You were going somewhere that you know.
Yeah. I always say, to that, we should get comfortable with who define what mental health is. Because for a lot of people who work on mental health, what comes to mind is illness. So when I talk of mental health, what comes to your mind is depression, your schizophrenia, and mental health is not that.
Okay.
Mental health is mental health.
What is that? Like?
Health. I want to put it simply, mental health is you being healthy mentally.
Okay.
And then there's mental illness.
Okay.
Which is what we often.
So those are two different things.
Those are two separate entities.
Or maybe it speaks to the stigma.
Yeah.
Because hangata about mental illness versus the mental health.
Yeah.
We are talking about two different things.
Yes.
Okay. So what in my case, it's not mental illness because I'm still sane and I still am functional, you know.
Yeah.
I can go to a psychiatric ward or what have you not.
Yeah.
But with mental health, it's just like my financial health taking a knock, my physical health, my emotional health taking a knock.
So your mental health, like I said, TK, is simply that. It means being healthy. It means you being resistant. It means you being resilient to your challenges. It means you bouncing back when you have blues and all of that. And then there's illness on the other side, which is when all of that has failed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is where I failed to bounce back. You know?
Yeah.
I failed to guys.
Yeah.
So in the era of, particularly for young people, in the era of social media, where we are chasing instant gratification, where we are chasing people see me post, and my Instagram is very lit lately because I only post professional pictures, you know.
Yeah.
So people see this life that I'm living rather. If they are thinking, wow, this guy has it all figured out, you know. If eventually that starts affecting their mental health, like you say, how does one pull themselves out of such a situation? What are some of the tips and tricks that I can use as a young person?
I think as a young person, in order to at least avoid being intrigued on social media, like he is saying, mental health, when take care of yourself mentally. So in order to take care of yourself mentally, you need to have certain things that you're doing. Your mental health is taken care of. You could stick to your diet. O a certain goal you're focus in case of social media, we should not believe everything we see and read on
Very
social
true,
media.
guys.
We should just stop believing everything we see and read on social media, because in turn it helps it contributes to our mental health being poor. It contributes to our mental health being poor, so we should just choose picky on what information
the content you consume.
Yes.
The content you consume. Okay. So for me, I get it. So the content that I'm consuming, there is taking care of my, and there's this new trend, self-care Sundays or self-care days on social media. Again, I've tried to do that. It was Sundays, I'm like, no guys, I need to get me a drink, you know. But for me, particularly about young people, you know. And then there's a new movement here, before we go to the ad break very shortly. There's a movement here, young females who are single parents, And just after a child is born, there's that phase where I think it's called postnatal depression.
Yeah.
How does one get to a point like that? Because I've actually seen a friend of mine go through something like that. You think we're excited to have a child, and here is a child, voila, half the child is disconnected. Hold that thought, at break. So, postnatal. That's where we left it off. Let's unpack, because what I saw with my friend was really, and the worst part is I didn't even know how to help her. You know, with gifts and what have you not. Eventually, I always mess that up. But have a fitla, if man asin sharp, and it's really a bad scene. Story. You know, so how does skiing? What's that?
So TK, pregnancy has a lot of factors around it. They affect. So it's your financial, your social, your economic, your whatnot. Okay. And Rona, we have normalized to when they get married should get pregnant, and it should be fine. They should be fine until manatla. Even when the baby is born, they should just be fine. Ignoring the factors that I talked about. So pregnancy is like a challenge for one.
Yep.
Okay.
I've never been pregnant, but I know this money.
So without money, the pregnancy is not gonna be so smooth.
Yeah.
You need checkups. You need to buy new clothes. You need a specific diet. You need this and that. Socially, you need all the support you can get. You're waiting for this little human being. And sometimes you know some murera, you know.
True.
They just happen to be. Now imagine not having money and the social structures. Okay. This means you're not gonna have the means to support the baby. And there's nobody who's gonna support you with the baby. Also, we should normalize checking on people.
Strong people. I did a post on that on WhatsApp here. Check on the strong people, whatever that means.
Yes.
But yeah.
We should really normalize who check out on people. Discover fella you're pregnant, how many months are we? And all of that. Is it a boy, is it a girl? We should normalize really sitting down with people to check on are you okay? Yeah.
I think for me, the other thing I also have, well, from a financial perspective, which is not scope for this, but I want to bring it there as well. The economic aspect of this, you know, how much of Danyani we undermine just how expensive that is. You know, we throw a person at an expensive baby shower. You know, if we find out this person, instead of throwing that lavish social media worthy baby shower, we could have actually done something very different for this person from an economic point of view.
You know, something else that I also want to talk about, it's not all about the financial and the economic whatever. Sometimes you find that Mutunana is very well taken care of. They're married, they have everything that they need, but then they tend to have postnatal depression. And then you begin to wonder what causes this. And there's this thing, the stigma again. We go back to the stigma. All those things, they don't understand how there are factors that can actually cause you depression. Sometimes you don't even understand what happened to you are monana mo lindeng, as much as you wanted something different. They can actually you'd think dinyanyana. I always say never think nyanyana because we react differently to the something that affects me a negative, it will affect a positive.
True.
So we need to understand our mental health is not going to be the same. We need to be very careful
and I think one what's positive to you may not necessarily be positive for you.
Yes.
Ke sheba ka lockdown. We are still in the COVID pandemic I guess. Lockdown ne hona in affected in ways that were positive and negative.
Exactly.
Okay. So ke kona ya motho mo madutsing teng hona what has the impact of the lockdown le COVID. I had a friend who was strong, independent, financially okay, has a secure job, but la re itseng to COVID-19 o na le anxious hona and you could see it affecting her mental health. So what would you Medina, what would you say, like, what has the impact of COVID been for you specifically, from a mental health perspective?
For me, get very shaba from angle young. I'm actually a social worker working with young adults. We have an organization, it's called YAFID, and it deals with young adults from 15 to 35. So I get going from that perspective.
Okay.
Hobani ke like wanna be interact and le bona haholo. And how sheba hona tjena, we had a conversation earlier le melentate, and ke hlokometse in that conversation hore ehlile bana ba banyane are going through the most all over. All over ho tloa ka bana ba banyanyana ba primary, because lockdown e entse hore ebe dikolo di kwetse one ba dutse hae. Ha ba dutse hae, the parents ba fumana hore le bona ba lahlehelwa ke mesebetsi akere, and entse ba bona all these things since in di etsahala. And o tlo fumana hore in most cases we are focused ho batho ba baholo. Motho enana is going through a lot, o lahlehetswe ke mosebetsi, but what about mental health for ngwana monyane? Ana tjena ha dikolo di kwetswe ba dutse hae, ha ona ntho ba e etsang, they are engaging in all sorts of activities tse re sa di tsebeng.
Strangely, I've got a 4-year-old niece, okay? And I don't think, I was chatting to my sister about the what you call mental health here high, because essentially she went to school. Yeah, but go to their store, but we're gonna do the last break and then I'll continue with the story.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so I take my niece to private tutoring, 1 hour, and this young girl na ke skolo, like ona ho skolong le mabane ne ke ile ha fitla ke fumana sentse nke mates ka bag ke ba like no, not today, re ka Tuesday le Wednesday le Thursday. She's like so we actually undermine just how much the impact COVID has had on the youngings.
Exactly.
The young kids. Exactly. About your 7-year-old.
My daughter, she's 7. Every time I check her WhatsApp status, it's like, when is this COVID ending? I'm tired of staying home. I want to go to school. It's like this whole COVID thing is a mess. It's messing up my life, you know. And
so you have a 7-year-old with WhatsApp. With WhatsApp status.
Kids of today.
How do you control that? Like, just out of interest.
There's I'm not very good with technology, but there's this YouTube that's for kids, or something like that. I've actually restricted everything that she goes through on the internet. She only goes through sites that are for kids.
Okay.
Yes.
And then during the break, Muzumwa about the pregnancy, going back to that as well.
Yes,
it has such impact. So you know,
what's the everybody wants to look good, everybody wants
Instagram bodies, yes.
So everybody wants to be looking good for the summer. So women, their bodies change during and after pregnancy. And that insecurity, your body has changed and you look in a different type of way than you did before you got pregnant. And it affects your mental health as a person, because also you are not as lovable as you used to be. You are not as pretty enough, you know. What we have realized as young people, when women the husbands cheat on them.
Oh.
Entanglements,
guys.
It's a real
pregnant.
It's a real challenge.
So the other thing, how about the sexiness? And I'm a big advocate of sexiness and feeling good and showing up. there's something that you mentioned, men not speaking up about their emotions. And I know during the lockdown, particularly, you were also going through your own mental health insecurities and issues in the health profession.
Yeah.
Let's maybe unpack some of the challenges. And we can specifically know about a lot of young guys coming into the spaces, and the likes, to talk about mental health issues.
Yeah. So TK, I work for men's clinic where I deal with men only.
Okay.
Not men's clinic. Yeah. So I've realized to a lot of males Basotho to have mental problems because this is one guy whose name I won't disclose.
Obviously.
So this guy comes to my clinic every Monday. Every Monday. Mehla ena ha tla o kula ntho ya hlokang ke mo etsetse a sick note. Kalon next realize what's going on, you know? First Monday, second Monday, third Monday, fourth Monday, no, this is a trend now. So we sit down, we talk, and I unpack this guy was forced to nyala in that high because you're a male, you're over 21 and you have a job. Nyala. Like
I've also been in that situation.
You know? So this guy went to Jalo, they have a baby, anymore, you know? And now there's a kid. And all of a sudden he has to buy furniture and all of blah blah blah, all of that. And this got a toll on him. Okay? So come weekend, come
lights out
to the max.
Lights out.
Okay, until Sunday after midnight. It's about Monday, ne? And then that's when he goes home. He just tries to freshen up and shows up to the clinic.
To the clinic to get a sick note.
Yeah.
And
not go to work because he's not able
so
to work.
the underlying issue is that pressure, that reality.
You know, we get very our mental health gets just because there are people there is this thing you have to do this at a certain age. There is this thing society says this, and because society says this, it's right. Yes, you know, you have to get married, you have to graduate. Well, you have to graduate before you get married. you know, but it can happen. You can get married and then graduate. But how 22 you graduate, how 25 you buy a car, how 27 you buy a house, how 30 you marry, how 32 you have to have children. And then also say you're not okay also and then it gets very heavy on you because so we have to be very careful.
So I think that because we are literally out of time again. I think based on that, to go to our closing remarks, now what you want to say again. You're not the pressure in our way. We have this unrealistic pressure for society.
Yes.
And how do I as an individual bring myself to myself, and we take it from there. Alright, closing remarks. Remember, sentence, phrase, quote, not paragraph.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's start over here and then contact.
Thank
What's the
you.
clockwise?
Please, let's normalize going for mental health checkups.
Okay.
That's what I want to say.
Where do we go for such things?
We have so many places that you can actually go to. Even there are free services that you can get.
Yeah.
There is Mohlomi. You can even go to clinics. The clinic is Muso, and then when you get there, they can refer you to the right places that you're supposed to go to. So don't say I will not go to a clinic. Yeah, clinic in I don't feel okay. Believe me, you'll get help.
Nice. Normalize
Going for mental
mental
health
health
checkups,
check.
please.
Now what I would like to say ke hore fela your mental health is your priority, it is your responsibility, take care of it.
It is your responsibility. Yeah, okay, that slaps differently. At least for me, it slaps differently. It's your responsibility because we leave it to other people to make sure. So your responsibility. Last but not least.
Save the best for last.
Right.
Oh, okay. I was like, interesting closing remark, but anyway.
So, I just want to say, when you remove I from illness and you replace that with we, you get wellness.
Yo! That slaps. Yo! Remove the I and replace it with we. Guys, it's been such a pleasure to have you on this platform. I believe that mental health is such a very important issue. And my closing remark would be, take care of yourself. Love yourself. Own race. Own pace. We're going to toast to this. And by the way, before we close out, guys, there's this new base that I'm trying out. You all should check it out. It is amazing. Cocktail, locally produced, and I'm going to tell the owner to take care of her mental health because she wanted to pull the plug, and I'm like, how care? Signed, sealed, love, Linda.